Sure. You got to ask who, not how. Who do I get to help me with this? Not how do I figure. So I posted the other day and was like, while most people are spending their time trying to figure stuff out, we're investing our time figuring out who do we hire that's already figured it out.
Welcome to the Marketing for the Culture podcast, powered by the African American Marketing Association. Each week, we'll bring you an insightful conversation from some of the best experts in our industry on how to advance our career. Join the collective of Black marketers across the world advancing their brand as we work towards creating a collaborative community.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your homie C Fire Gang, aka CL Palmer, here again with another edition of Marketing for the Culture. And today I have a very special guest. I have somebody who's helped a lot of entrepreneurs in their journey. And right now we're looking at $500 million in sales. We're just going to say that right, $500 million.
Actually $1 billion now. Actually officially.
It's officially $1 billion.
Yeah.
So everything I got is outdated because we out here growing at a rapid pace.
For sure.
And that's what I love to hear. And not only is he out here helping entrepreneurs sell all their products, all their services, but he's also going to be the keynote speaker at the Marketing for the Culture Summit. It's May 12, 2022 in Atlanta, Georgia at the gathering spot. But he is out here killing the game when it comes to client attraction. In fact, he is the client attraction king, none other than Mr. Marquel Russell. Mm-hmm. How you doing today, man?
I'm excellent, man. I'm blessed, man. Outstanding. Excited to be here, man. New day, new opportunities. I'm excited to be here. And I'm definitely excited about the Marketing for the Culture Conference. It's going to be amazing. I'm super excited about it.
Man, and I appreciate you, figuring out some time to go ahead and help people learn from you. Appreciate you sitting down, giving me some time just to do this interview. You out here really killing the game, like we said at the beginning, man. You jumped over $1 billion, and I'm just looking at some recent information, and you was just at $500 million. So
sure.
I know you out here doing it, man. So I don't want to waste too much of your time, but I do got to know some things just because you from Atlanta, Georgia, and I feel like I wouldn't be doing this interview justice if I didn't do some Atlanta stuff for the people.
Just do it.
So I want to do a little word association.
Okay.
I want to just get it popping. So I'm going to just give me the first thing that pops into your head when I drop these terms.
Let's do it.
Lemon pepper.
Hot wings. Extra crispy.
Got to be extra crispy. So it's not, no, lemon pepper wet is not a thing, just to let y'all know.
I don't even eat meat no more, but when I did, I used to get mine hot, extra crispy. Like mine had to be extra. I used to hate to see the veins in my chicken and all that. It had to be extra chicken. Well, I had to pull it a little bit.
Look, I'm the exact same way. Anybody in Atlanta knows, some places know, but not sometimes you got to let them know.
Yeah, and I don't like the big ones neither. I like the little, the regular wings.
Absolutely. So I already know. I'm not even going to get nobody no shout outs, but all right. Next word, the bluff.
Gentrification. That's the first thing that came to mind. The bluff ain't what it used to be.
That is so true about Atlanta. It's a lot of pockets that are definitely getting gentrified. Let me keep moving. The varsity.
Overrated.
Say it again.
That's overrated, man. I ate at the varsity maybe twice, and I was never excited about it. Even on them after the club type situation when you just hungry, it's still it just ain't good to me. You know what I'm saying?
It's strictly a tourist thing.
For sure, 100%. That's a tourist spot for sure.
Next one. Go ahead.
That's what I was going to say. When I go to cities, I be always like, hey, I don't want to go to the tourist spot. Take me to the hood. Take me where the natives go. That's where I want to go eat.
Right. Take me to the hole in the wall.
Yeah, that's where I want to go.
I'm with you on that. All right. Next word, Greenbrier.
That's still my spot. Like,
That's
I don't say too far from Greenbrier, but Greenbrier, legendary. If I'm thinking one word, still my spot, legendary. So much history. Yeah.
Okay, so you right there, man.
But yeah. That's my spot. I used to stay behind Greenbrier and Ben Hill. Yeah.
See, when I was up in East Point for about a year, and I learned so much about Atlanta that I just didn't know. I stayed in Atlanta pretty much on the north side my whole life, but that time down there,
yeah, it's different.
Man, that's like a crash course.
Yeah, it's different.
You gotta get up to speed.
Yeah, it's different. It's different.
All right, and I guess we can be able to tell your age off this one. But last word, Freaknik.
I always wished I could really be in the mix of it.
So you just missed it, just like everybody else in this generation.
Missed it. I heard stories. My people were going down there, but I can't say I was like in the mix. That was right before me.
You know, I meet a lot of people like that. You know, it's like you see the OGs, and they tell you all the stuff, but it wasn't gonna last. Not from what they were telling me. All right. So I had to do that one for the A one time. So man, let's get into the interview.
Let's do it.
So you say you right there from Greenbrier, so you on the south side. Mm-hmm. Now, is there anything about that side of town that really helped mold you into who you are today?
I think everything about this side of town helped mold me to what I am today. It's like you got a mixture of. It's like you can literally be on the west side, Southwest Atlanta, on one street. So I use Cascade for example. You can be on Cascade, and on one end is multi-million-dollar cribs. You can ride down Cascade 10 minutes and be right in the hood, right? And you can pretty much do the same thing on Martin Luther King. You do the same thing on Camerton Road, right? And it's like, I always wonder, how can people be in the same city and then some people be poor and then some people have it? And we like in the same community. So because if you think about it, like even right here in this area, the Greenbrier area, Tyler Perry's studio is in this area. It's in East Point. He had this whole thing where he built the initial one at, right? This in the Greenbrier area, Southwest Atlanta, right? He built his whole thing right there. And then he, like within the past couple of years, you heard of Fort McPherson Air Base before? Fort McPherson. This dude went and bought a piece of the Fort McPherson Air Force Base on Main Street. Like if you get off at the West End, ride straight down into East Point. This dude bought a piece of the Fort McPherson Air Force Base. That's crazy. And that's where all the Tyler Perry stuff is shot at now. Over here in the same area. So it's like, I can't unsee that. You can't, that forces you to think bigger. Like even growing up, just seeing this, it forces you to think bigger. So I'm gonna give you a quick story. So what made me just think about this. So my aunt used to live in Hightower Ridge. So this is in Adamsville, Martin Luther King area, right behind Allen Temple. If you listen to this and you're from Atlanta, you know what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. And one day I'm outside and I see Kilo. You remember Kilo?
Yeah.
I see Kilo Ali, and he's like singing to this girl. She's like up on her, it's not a balcony, obviously, right? It's a stairwell. So she's standing up on the top of her stair and he's like singing to her. And I'm like, oh man, that's Kilo. Cause you know, Kilo, this is a legend.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm looking around, I'm young, I'm a child. So I'm looking around, I find me a little paper towel that's on the ground. I walk up to him and get an autograph. So I was in the midst of that. And all the guys who I looked up to in those earlier ages were the big dope boys. So that's what actually got me into the streets, because the only people who I knew who was having it was the dope boys. Like even like everybody, the world got to experience Shawty Low, right? But early on, I knew him as Carlos. Big dope boy, on Bankhead, everybody knew who Carlos was from the West Side, but the world got to experience Shout It Low. So I grew up in that, and I'm seeing this, and I was very observative. And I was like, I knew I didn't want what I had. What I grew up in, I knew I didn't want to grow up in that, and I knew I wanted. Because I wasn't thinking about kids now that they're early, but I knew I didn't want to grow up and have the reality that my relatives had. I knew I wanted to be wealthy even when I was very young. Just didn't know how I was going to do it. But the dope move was the only one I knew, so that's the route I went.
Man, and that's interesting, just the way you put that. Because I think about Atlanta, and it's so big, but yet it's so small at the same time. Like you can't get to one place without driving 30 minutes.
Yep.
But it's kind of the same everywhere. And like you said, you got rich people, poor people, all they're going to the same Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it's all right there. So it's hard to limit what you think is possible when it's not hard to see. And that kind of brings me into my next question, because one thing I noticed from looking at you online is you're really in the mindset.
Yeah.
And to me, that's part of the pillars. Like I'm actually working on something, and it's going to be for all the AAMA members. But it's basically going to be a mix of three. It's technique, technology, and mindset. Mm-hmm. And to me, those are the three things that can help create a better marketer. Mm-hmm. And that last one, that mindset, to me, especially personally, is the thing that is most of the battle. Mm-hmm. Because whether you feel like you can do something or you can do it, you're probably right.
Yep.
So tell me, how much, I guess, mindset development did you have to do in order to like propel yourself to where you are now?
Man, I'm still doing it. It's like an ever going process. It's just different. I'm always doing the mindset stuff. I'm always adding on to it, right? I even work with a therapist every week, right? It's like I'm always leveling up. The mindset is everything. It's like, especially coming from where I come from. So like when I first got introduced to this whole world, I got introduced to network marketing first. I didn't make a ton of money in network marketing, but what I did get from network marketing was the mindset stuff. That's why I was introduced to personal development. That's why I was introduced to Les Brown. That's why I was introduced to Jim Rohn. That's why I was introduced to Earl Nightingale. But the biggest thing was like, when nobody Black really teaching none of this stuff, right? It was like all white cats. So it was like, I'm like, where the brothers at? And I eventually got introduced to my brother now, Brian Bean. I got introduced to my brother, Jerry Clark. These cats were playing at a high level and they were teaching it. But I had to like dig through a lot to find these nuggets in there, right? But it was just like the Mark Victor Hansons and all these different cats. So I was obsessed with what they were teaching. And one of my biggest things was I wanted to learn this stuff and teach it, and specifically share it with our people, right? Even with direct response marketing, like when nobody teaching direct response marketing, like for real. And then even if you look back at all the people we studied from a direct response marketing, I studied all of them, the Halberts, the Kennedys, the Capels, the Ogilvies, all these ancient direct response marketing cats, they're all old white cats. When nobody Black, I was very intentional about it. And I was like, I even did some surveys and I was like, what Black ancient, I'm just using the word ancient loosely, direct response marketing people are there that's Black? The only one that came up, and I can't even think of the brother's name right off, but I ended up getting this book. It was one brother from Chicago, but it's not even direct response. He has an agency, but it's more like traditional brand advertising marketing. Ain't no brothers who was teaching it, right? Not who was getting credit for it. But I was like, I wanted to change that. So I just obsessed myself with learning. So, I'm still obsessed with the mindset because there's three things you got to have. And I think I got this, my brother, Marcus Rozier. Shout out to Marcus, my brother, client, friend, all that good stuff. And he basically says, it's three things you got to have. You got to have mindset. That's first and foremost. Got to have that. You got to have skill set, right? And then you got to have a tool set, right? But the mindset is everything. The only thing that separates somebody who makes $1 million a year from somebody who makes 6 figures a year is typically their mindset. Somebody who makes 8 figures a year 7 figures a year is typical of that mindset. Some people say, well, Marquel, what's the difference in charging $3,000 for my package or $5,000 for my package? Well, I'm like, the 6 inches between your ears. They're like, what's the difference in charging $3,000 to $10,000? Well, the 6 inches between your ears. Like I say, everything is mindset. Like you getting in shape. The difference in you getting up, you already know what to do. You need to work out. You need to eat different. But the mindset is going to keep you from doing it. Right? So, you need to put the video out. Your mindset is what stops you from doing it. Not that you don't know what to do. You already know what to do. Right? But you just ain't doing it.
I mean, I know you talking to me, but I felt like you was talking to me. Like I took in all of that right there. Mm-hmm. Oh man. So many different places I could go with that, man. But it's funny you said that, and because I'm actually working on something that is purely about mindset, and it's with a brother. Mm-hmm. And when we first started, we felt like it's important that we do this with some soul. We do this with people that can feel, the texture of how we get down, but what it's doing is it's helping you with your mindset. Mm-hmm. And so we've been really digging our heels in on that. And so what you just said really confirms a lot of how we felt. Like it's just not enough of us out here to get people on that right track. And when we're doing some of the research, and I'm gonna get your opinion on this. I want you to tell me when somebody feels like their mindset is, I'm able to do something, but I can't figure it out. So it's a conceptual problem. Is this more of a DNA thing? Because I look at you, and you had your mom's. She had the telemarketing business, mm-hmm. And then I look at you. I'm like, you came out like that, mm-hmm. Almost. And then you look at some people who can't quite figure it out. Yep. So, is it a nature versus nurture thing? And are you the type of person who can actually help people get to where they need to be?
Yeah, great question. So I think DNA can be a part of it, but I don't think it's 100% a part, because I got 2 sisters also, and they aren't business owners, right? They aren't, you know what I'm saying? Not saying they can't be, but they aren't, right? So I think it was part the DNA, because like a lot of people say a lot of what I do and how I operate reminds them of my mom. So I think I did get some of that there. However, I've also felt the urge and, like you said, nurtured it as well. So I think it's some nature and some nurture, because I've nurtured it also by learning, by growing. And I've always had that craving to grow and do more. And I just actually, instead of most people they run from it, I actually went towards it because I knew what I wanted. Right now, am I the type of person who can help people get to where they want? Yeah, if they really want to go. I'm not in the business of dragging people, but if they want to go, definitely got the formula to help them do it. And we've done that over and over and over and over. But you got to want to go. It ain't for everybody. I tell people all the time. The internet has made people feel like you got to be an entrepreneur. If you're not an entrepreneur, you're a loser. It's I don't believe that. First of all, you don't have to be an entrepreneur. The internet just market that to us. For example, you don't got to build something. You can link up with somebody who's building something and help them build. It's a book called Rocket Fuel. And it talks about being a visionary and being an integrator. And being able to, it's somebody can be a visionary, but the integrator actually helps make it happen. Right? So for example, but a lot of times, especially in our culture, we won't submit, I'm going to just use that word loosely, to somebody else's vision to help them build that. We feel what they're doing is, let me go. For example, so I love what Michelle and the whole squad is doing with, what you call it, AAMA, the African American Marketing Association. Genius. So obviously I could be like, you know what? That's a dope concept. What if I created an African American Marketing Association with Jordan Auckland? It's like, no, that don't make sense. I want to connect with her, connect with what they're doing, and then let's help grow that, however I can bring to the table, right? So our community has a major issue with that for many reasons. Sometimes we feel like we got to be the face. Sometimes we got to be able to say, we did this, we created this, but it don't got to be like that. So if you think about Google, if you think about Facebook, you think about Microsoft, think about it. Your brother Steve, if you ever heard of Steve Ballmer?
Absolutely.
Steve Ballmer owns the Clippers, and he's a multi-billionaire, right?
Bought him cash. He bought him cash.
Bought him cash. He was Bill Gates' boy in school. Came on, and then now as a result of just the relationship blew up. He like, I ain't got to be the face of Microsoft. Most people don't even know who he is. If you walk through Walmart right now, most people won't even know who the man is. He don't care. He was locked in with Bill Gates. Same thing with Facebook. Everybody who was locked into him with the IPO. All this, we can go on and on and on. Think about it.
Right.
Most people don't know who Steve Wozniak is. You know who Steve Wozniak is?
Yes.
Most people don't know who he is. This is the guy who helped start Apple. Everybody know, what's the name though? Everybody know Steve Jobs though. Most people don't know who Paul Allen is. Paul Allen helped start, I think he owned the Seahawks and some other team. He helped start Microsoft, right? And I can go on and on and on. But John Ivey, most people don't know who John Ivey is. John Ivey is the guy who created all the iPhone technology, the iPad technology, all the different type of stuff. Like he created that stuff. Like don't nobody know who he is. Like you put up next to him at the gas tank, like you wouldn't even know who he is. You know what I'm saying? But it's like these cats was like, all right, these dudes are building something. These dudes are visionaries. How do we tap in and then help build this? Because we helped do this. The people who helped start Google, it's like, yeah, these brothers, they started it, but they're like, based on what I brought to the other people who was part of it in the earlier days, they're like, based on what I brought to Google, we've helped the whole world be able to get information more easily. Yes, I was part of that, but our culture, just from my particular experience, it's arguable, but from my particular experience, from what I've seen, we have a challenge with that. And I know it goes back to slavery and all that, but it's like, all right, cool. It's 2022 now. We got to make some shifts. So I know that was a super long answer to your question, bro.
No, man, that was perfect because I know exactly what you're talking about. I wanted to work with a lot of different people, but they couldn't work it out. I'm just like, hey, man, it's like you doing something. I got a little something going on. We should probably just put it together and see where it goes. Like maybe we could just, split it on the back end if it's really about some money. But it's like you said, they want to do their own thing and do it their own way and be the face and have those stats and be able to flex on it. So it's hard to come from that type of culture and environment. So I guess the follow-up question to that is when you're giving advice and given the way you look and your whole get down, is it easier to get white people to listen to you than it is black people?
So the majority of our clients, 99% of our clients historically are black. Yeah, so the majority of our clients are black. That's one of the most exciting. Yeah, that's one of the most exciting things, right? Because we're helping break. And a lot of times, my team and my therapist and my CPA had to remind me of really what we're doing, right? So we got a team of like 30-something people. Just the generational curses that we're breaking based on what we're doing, right? So I wouldn't say it's easier. Even some black people be standoffish when they see me. I get the most hate and the most negative comments on my ads and so forth from black people. I get a comment from a white person every now and then, but the majority of them historically are black people.
Okay.
Straight up. The goal. Oh, you got goals if you want to. I had a white guy comment on the ad the other day. He was like, turn your hat around like an adult. He says about my hat bends in the back. You know what I'm saying?
We
But
still doing that.
Yeah, I had black people like, hey, your goal, if you want people to take you seriously and professionally, you can't be out here with gold teeth in your mouth and this and the third. And, I got clients who said they were standoffish at first. They was taken back when they first seen me hit the stage or they first seen me. It was like, wait a minute, like straight up. And they were really, because it's come from programming. Like we're taught, you don't trust a person with gold teeth in their mouth. If you want to be professional, you got to wear suits. You got to do this. 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 You got to you got to scratch off all these things to be worthy. Right. And it's just us. I be in the room with these white boys. White boys come to the stage with no socks, no shoes on, a fisherman shirt, fisherman hat, ain't bathed. But people like bow. You know what I'm saying?
That's wild. You have a point. You're right. They definitely come through with the flip flops on, cargo pants, and they're hanging on to every single word.
Yeah, 100%.
Mm-hmm. And you just, you got on a nice shirt. You just got your hat backwards, and it's a problem. Oh man.
Yeah,
Ooh.
I know, but I think the biggest. So to answer your question, is it easier? I wouldn't say it's easier. But I think easy is relative. I think it's easy. It's easier for me to just be me, and then it's a scripture that says, and I don't like to use it, so I like to modify, because I don't like to call people sheep. But I say that the modern version of when you speak and you use your authentic voice, the people you're called to serve will hear you, and then they'll naturally be attracted to you, and it'll free them, because by me showing up how I show up authentically, other people see that, wow. You telling me I can just be me and still succeed at a high level? I'm like, well, that's exactly what I'm telling you.
Okay, so what you're telling me from what I gathered there is a lot of your clients are highly qualified to work with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So like, all of our clients are qualified to work with us because we take them through a qualification process, right?
Gotcha.
The trick part is typically when we're in our rooms, we got clients who are like doctorates, like doctors. I got a doctorate like last year, honorary doctorate from Higher Place Christian University. They gave me, you probably see it right there. So
shout out.
Yeah, appreciate it. So we have doctors. I'm talking about like people who really got PhDs, like went to school for it, all that, right? We got clients who are MBAs. We got clients. A lot of our clients are Greek, meaning, they're like alphas and kappas, and all that, like real intelligent individuals, right? And here I am teaching the class, and I got a 9th grade education. I dropped out in 10th grade. Yeah.
Yo, that when you put it like that, that's kind of dope. I'm not gonna lie, bro. That means you really got the game, and it's working. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's a lesson to anybody out there. It doesn't really matter where you're starting from, but it's really about what you know.
Yep.
And I guess a lot of us don't really tap into that. And I've seen you speak on how important books are in your development. Mm-hmm. And I guess kind of walk me down that. And you told me about a few people that you picked up, but is there any like one book or particular passage, anything that really just grabbed you and turned you in a different direction?
So I think, so my most gifted book is The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield. Not The Art of War, it's The War of Art. And it basically talks about resistance, right? It talks all about resistance. So that's one of the books I always recommend. Now you asked about a passage. So this is probably a quote. It's kind of a quote / poem. People call it different, but it's basically Our Deepest Fear. You familiar with that one?
Yes.
Like our deepest fear is that we're not, our deepest fear not that we're inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we're powerful beyond measures. Our light and our darkness that most frightens us. So I read that pretty much every morning. So yeah, that's heavy because it speaks volume.
Man, it does, because I know every time I hear it, it's always just in my head, like, am I really afraid of this moment, or is it just just what it is? Like, am I
Mm-hmm.
just being hesitant?
Yep. And I'm gonna tell you something else, man. Another one that's a game changer. Speaking of passages, and I typically always have to look it up. It's I'm not sure, you probably familiar with this one as well, but it said, "I bargained with life for a penny, and life would pay no more. However, I begged that evening when I counted my scanty store. Life is a just employer; it gives you what you ask, but once you set the wages, why you must bear the task. I worked for a menial's hire, only to learn dismayed that any wage I had asked of life, life would have willingly paid." Just heavy, bro.
And I can see why that resonates with you, because
Listen,
your whole ethos is the high ticket item, getting
listen,
people in, and that right there is like, wherever you setting it, that's how you gonna be working. Like, it's
man.
so true. You get in, you gonna get out what you put in.
Yep.
So I guess, man, there's so many different places I want to keep going, but I don't want to be all day with you. But I guess one thing I would like to know is, say me, for example, I'm somebody who's up on the come up. I feel like I might need your help in the somewhat future.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking about, all right, I may not be able to use Marquel system. I might not be able to afford it right now. And I'm thinking, all right, how do I get myself prepared and ready so I can work with you?
Great question. So I would say nobody ever comes to us prepared and ready. That's number one.
Okay.
Number two, I can't afford it is disempowering language. Is how, first of all, most people disqualify themselves before even having the conversation. They automatically like, man, I can't afford it, dude. It's like, you don't even know how much it costs. You don't even know what's the investment. And if there's a cost, you actually shouldn't do it. Because cost means you just putting out and not a return. Investment means that you're putting out and you're getting a return, an expected return. So if you don't see working with us as an investment and you see it as a cost, I actually recommend not doing it, because we don't want to be a cost to anybody, right? We want to be an investment. So that's number one. Number two, you figure out people don't come to us because they got the money, right? People don't come to us because they got all the money taken care of. They come to us because they want to make more money. So you're like, okay, how do I figure this out? How do I make it happen? How do I get started? How do I? Right? You figure it out. And when you decide, the whole universe conspires on your behalf and things begin to open up. Because an object in motion stays in motion. Object at rest stays at rest. And when you're in motion, things move out the way. Things line up. But you got to move. But nobody comes to us ready because they don't even know what they're in for. They only see what they see on the surface level. But when they come into the fold, they always like, this is way more than what I bargained for.
Oh man, you might be hearing from me real soon.
Yeah, man. On the internet, man, people just kind of get a glimpse. People just get a glimpse of what we do on the internet. Like, people don't really see holistically what we actually do when you come into the fold.
Man, if that doesn't have you fired up to get this man a call, give him your email, shoot him a text or DM, I'm not sure what will. Because at this point, he just lets you know, if you want it bad enough, it's going to happen.
For sure.
And man, I love that. I love that attitude, because I don't think people are that forthright with what you just said. It's like, it's not a cost, it's an investment. Yep. And if you think that you had to be at a certain level to come in the room, then you're already not on the level.
Yep. Because some people will say, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing to finally get to a point where I believe I need to be. Well, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing that's not working in my particular perspective to continue to get to where I want to be that I've never gone. But I'm going to figure out how to get there to then be ready to work with you to get me to a new level. It's like, you can't get somewhere you've never gone on your own. I mean, you could, but it's going to take you way longer than plugging into somebody who's actually done it already. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, I'm on the south side, you on the north side of Atlanta. It's like, I could get to you, but it's like, if you're not from Atlanta at all, and you just tell me, hey, get on 285 North, come straight out, get off on Roswell Road. Like, I've been that way multiple times. Like, I can jump on 285, jump on, and I don't got to use my GPS and get off on Roswell Road. And you like, call me when I get off on Roswell. All right, bet. I know how to do that. I've done it before. But somebody who hasn't done that, they like, 285 what? Notice I ain't say 285 east, north, none of that. You just said hit 285, get off on Roswell. I know what 285 to go because I've been there multiple times.
Right.
And I could take somebody else.
Look, man, look. Call Dr. Russell so you don't have to go the long way on 285 to get to Stone Mountain.
Yep. Because think about it, in Atlanta, it's like Roswell Road. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna go. They're gonna end up in Buckhead because it's a Roswell in the Buckhead area as well. Now it's like,
right.
Then they call you when you get in that area. You're like, hey man, I'm on Roswell. You're like, where you at? I just passed Lennox. I'm on such and such. You're like, nah, fam, you on the whole other side of town.
The wrong side. You 45 minutes.
You 45 minutes out.
Yo, that right there it's so on point because for one, like you said, it's like you know the streets. You know the steps that you need to take in order to get you from A to B.
Yeah.
And I just talked about this with Steve Worthy, who's also going to be on Market for the Culture Summit. Yes. And he was saying that, the word coach comes from the vehicle, not the person on the sideline. It's somebody that gets you from one place to another.
Yeah.
That's why it's called a coach. And I don't think everybody always lets that sit in because the reason you get a coach is because they know where to go.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, that's the whole reason you get one in the first place. Mm-hmm. And I hope people are really letting that soak in because you want to be somewhere, and no matter how hard you try, if you do it by yourself, it will take you long.
Yep.
And that's something I have had to learn the hardest way.
Yep.
I take full responsibility, but now I'm conscious of it, so I know, you need to go get somebody for that. You might need to just go ahead and hire that out. And I'm just more aware of it now. And like you said, that mindset thing, it's ongoing. It never ends.
For sure. You got to ask who, not how. Who do I get to help me with this? Not how do I figure. So I posted the other day and was like, while most people are spending their time trying to figure stuff out, we're investing our time figuring out who do we hire that's already figured it out.
That's powerful. That's very powerful.
Yeah. Because if you ever read the book or heard about the concept of 10,000 hours that Malcolm Gladwell made famous, right? And basically it's saying that 10,000 hours is the time it takes to develop mastery, right? So if you do the math, 10,000 hours, if you work 40 hours a week just on developing your craft, 40 hours a week. Most people don't have time to work 40 hours a week developing their craft, but let's say you did. That would take you 5 years to get 10,000 hours. Right? What if you just paid for other people's 10,000 hours? That's what coaching is. You paying somebody else for their 10,000 hours. You can do that, or you can invest the next 5 years trying to figure stuff out on your own. Or you can hire somebody and pay for their 10,000 hours in 5 days, 5 weeks, 5 months. You figure it all out, depending on their process.
So powerful, bro. It's such a powerful thing to have in the toolkit and the mindset that there's expertise on tap.
Yeah.
You're just thinking about, what you could do, but when you start thinking about what you could do as a human, there's so much capacity.
100%.
Oh man. Oh my gosh. Man, I could have these type of conversations all day. But We done already went a little over time. So, Dr. Russell, I like that. I like that title. You say you got an honorary doctor, but I almost like that because I feel like I just had a little session.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
You got my head all the way open.
I appreciate that. I'm glad I could help.
So before we wrap this all the way up, man, can you tell people what to expect from your keynote speech at Marketing for the Culture Summit?
Yeah, so basically, when you experience the keynote that I'm going to dive into at the Marketing for the Culture Summit, is my goal is to show you how to turn your annual income into your monthly income. So whatever you made last year or whatever you want to make this year for the entire year, I'm going to show you how to take that. And by the time you leave and by the time I'm done, you're going to have a step-by-step game plan of exactly how to take what you wanted to make this year and turn it into what you're going to make, what you can make in a month or a week, depending on your goals. But I'm going to specifically give you a specific game plan of going from, okay, here, you used to want to make in a year, I make that in a month or a week. And that's not on some hype, motivational type stuff, but you're literally going to have a step-by-step game plan where you can literally walk out or even right there in the room, start implementing immediately to get results.
Okay. So if I'm making $75K a year, you tell me I'm going to walk out there with the game plan to make $75K in a month.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's what we do.
I think it's worth the price of admission.
Oh, easily. And that's just my keynote. Like all the other lineup, I mean, it's gravy because there's a lot of other amazing speakers going to be there as well. So I'm saying that's what I'm specifically going to bring to the table. And I don't know hype. I don't do motivation. I don't do, hey, anything is possible. Put your mind. No, I'm coming in with practical step by step by step. Do this, do this, do this, do this.
You heard that. We're not doing hype. No. We're getting into the nitty gritty.
That's why you see my shirt, no cap. If you're watching the video, there's no cap zone.
Marketing for the Culture Summit. All the way, the whole perimeter, no cap zone.
No cap zone.
I'm going to put that out there right now. We might have to run that into the ad.
No cap zone.
Straight up. Because Marquel Russell said that this is the no cap zone. Boy, man, I'm going to need one of them shirts.
I got you. Send them up.
Already, man. All right, man. I appreciate your time. Can you tell people where to find you? Where to find you and how to get in touch with you? Let me say that right.
100%. So yes, I'm on all your favorite, whatever your favorite social media platform is, I'm there. We're not on really Snapchat right now, but we're getting our TikTok popping. However, the one we're most engaged on, if you're on Instagram, come over to Instagram. Just my name, Marquel Russell. Join our Instagram community. I don't really like to say follow me on Instagram because we like to develop leaders, not followers. Join our Instagram community on Instagram, Marquel Russell, MarQuel RUSSELL. It'll pop up. Shoot me a DM. Click on the blue follow button. Shoot me a DM. Let me know that you were on the podcast, and I got a special gift for you just for reaching out. Same thing. If you're like, okay, I'm not on Instagram, I'm on Facebook. Same rules apply. Come over to Facebook, connect with me, shoot us a DM, let me know you're on here. We got a special gift for you. And if you're a business owner, which apparently you are, or aspiring, if you like an expert-based business, like you're a coach, you're a consultant, course creator, expert, speaker, author, whatever, and you want to get more clients for your business, I want to give you our paid ad playbook for 100% free. So if you go to paid ad playbook, PAID, playbook.com, you can go get our paid ad playbook for 100% free. And the paid ad playbook is going to show you step-by-step how to get 50 to 100 leads every single day that actually convert into clients. So go to paidadplaybook.com right now, get it for free. And I see you at the conference.
Look at all that. A whole bunch of value you can get for free from this man. Before you even talk about doing the business, you could just learn and learn and learn. This has been a very valuable conversation. I hope everybody has been listening, taking notes, because you was dropping gems. At the gems, man. Bro. Whew.
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you.
Mister, or should I say doctor?
Appreciate you, man. I appreciate you.
Marquel Russell, I thank you for coming on Marketing for the Culture. I appreciate everybody out there for listening, watching on YouTube. Man, I hope I see y'all at the conference, man. Get some more of this sauce. May 12th. Be in the building. The official No Cap Zone. The whole perimeter. And can't wait to see y'all, man. And with all that said, man, we out here. Peace.
Peace.
Thank you for listening to Marketing for the Culture podcast. If you haven't already, please subscribe, whether it's on Apple, Google, Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform. And of course, our videos are on YouTube. If you have a moment, feel free to give us a rate, review, or just comment. We appreciate our sponsors for their continuous support. Also, if you're interested in learning more about our sponsors or becoming a member of the African American Marketing Association, visit aa-ma.org.